Alec with the Mat Martial Arts here, and today I'm going to go over a quick little tip on the concept of parries. Now, parries are great for deflections of energy of something coming straight at our body. Typically, it'll be something like a jab or a cross. I want to caution real quickly that if you find yourself doing more than 1 or 2 parries, you're not doing something right. You need to be getting out of the way no matter what. And it's not necessarily going to be that a jab or a cross in a self-defense sense is actually the most likely attack coming at you. So the goal is to always get offline as soon as you can, get outside of their center or beyond their elbows so they can't get anywhere inside of you. With the parry concept, I might think of someone reaching to grab, post, or throw that first punch with maybe something else coming afterwards. So I want to move as soon as I can to the outside. So if they're throwing that jab or they're reaching for that hand, whatever it is, I might parry right away off that. And what we're going to talk about today is a triangle. Drawing an imaginary line from shoulder to shoulder, that's the width of your body, and then out in front of you as far as your hands can reach, but touching to the center. So you've got this imaginary triangle space. This is the range that you are going to be working to protect. When something comes down that center, you are going to have your hands out in front of you, hopefully with good habits, which means the further your hands go out in front of you, the more you can intercept sooner with less movement. The closer to you, the more you're going to have more movement to affect the same defensive response. So if my hands are really tight, I'm going to need to really move my hands across the base, really turn my shoulders to get my base narrower in order to make sure I don't get hit, versus my hands being out in front more. Less space creates a bigger deflection. That inch is a mile concept plays in really heavily right now. If I can get my hands into a comfortable place that's out in front of me that is already kind of intercepting something, then I'm already working half of my movements without working harder. I take my hand inside of the triangle or my arm inside of that triangle, depending on the height of that attack. When I do this, I want to try to rotate my hips and shoulders so it narrows my torso and making my space to get hit smaller. The sooner I can get out in front of me, the more I can create a bigger space to get behind. I want to be outside of their elbows, like I mentioned before, but I would like to have them potentially inside of mine if I'm going to attack. And of course, if I'm going to leave, then it doesn't really matter. So as I defend that space, I'm going to put my head behind it also. So it's coming down the center, my hand intercepts out in front, makes that triangle shape deeper, get my head behind it, and my body can follow. If I need to make more space because I got caught, it's closer to me for whatever reason, I can also pull my body weight back. I'm going to take my lead leg and drag it back. We call this a switch step. I'm going to drag it back into what some people might consider a cat stance, but I'm going to immediately shift off to that empty side. So if I'm going to get behind this side, I can just simply shuffle my body. But if I have to get behind this side, that's my back leg. So I'm going to drag this leg back as I defend that triangle. It increases the space between me and whatever's trying to come at me. Then I can step offline, just like I could have on the other side. That was my lead. So my switch step is going to be hand and foot pretty close to simultaneous, and then I can get offline and escape. Or I can get offline and throw my counterattacks however I feel necessary. So, in review, hands out in front, touch those fingers together, make a center line. That point is going to come out towards the shoulders. This triangle space is what I am protecting. When I'm making this triangular defense, I want to make sure I'm like a mine inside of this little tunnel. My hands are sticking to the wall. My forearms are following my hands. So it's going to be a nice, pretty close to vertical surface so I can protect head or torso. And I'm going to try to think of it as the base of my hand to my elbow, not the fingers. That way my fingers don't get caught on anything. So I can kind of plant my hand inside that wall so it's firm, pops whatever it is I'm trying to deflect so it bounces off me, and then I can move behind that. Defend your triangle, create the space if you need to, and then you can fill that space how you want to afterwards, depending on what your defensive maneuver is going to be. So give it a try. Try protecting that triangle. Keep those hands in a comfortable distance from your body so you can intercept sooner. Let that inch become a mile. Have fun.